She's wicked! Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. We're back here again. Hello everybody. Hello everyone. First off, I'd like to say a massive thank you for all of your really lovely comments that you left on my previous video. I was very nervous about coming back and that just made everything so much better for me. So thank you so much for your support. I'm really grateful and honoured that I got to help a lot of you and your situations that have happened this year. And we're all in this together. We're all just trying to survive and figure it out. And I'm really happy that, not that this has happened to us, absolutely not, but I'm really happy that I get to kind of heal along with you guys, and it's all just a big learning experience, one day at a time. My goals got done this year. Let's never do it again. Let's never ever ever do this year again. But yeah, just for reference, I got my Spotify Wrapped yesterday, and my highest played song this year is The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived. So, I'll let that speak for itself, you know what I mean? For today's video, I thought we could talk about the timeline that's kind of like the prequel of Pretty Little Liars. So we're talking about when Alex and Spencer were born, when Cece was born, things like that that kind of led up to Alison's disappearance, to kind of get us more with the timeline, because a lot of it is kind of everywhere. Let's not lie, let's not beat around the bush. Much like my life this year, it's everywhere, and not once has anything made sense, but you know, we're going with it. Yeah, let's get cracking right into it. Bring me down, I hope you're happy. We first start off October 31st, 1951. This is when the evil twin story takes place. And this is the story that we are told in a Halloween episode. I believe it's Alison that's telling the story, where there's two blonde twins and one of them ends up killing the other one, and this is kind of like the horror story that goes along with it. And this was a lot of foreshadowing for the show, because in the end twins had a lot of prominence in the show. One of the twins killing the other one, it's very significant in the fact, for example, Mary and Jessica Drake, Jessica stabbed Mary in the back loads of times. Alex and Spencer, Alex wanted to kill Spencer type of thing. So that foreshadowing, we didn't know at the time. I think it was quite obvious foreshadowing, which is why a lot of people kind of suspected that a twin thing was coming. But that is where we start off on our timeline. So then we have April 11th, 1994. And this is when Spencer and Alex were born in the timeline. And obviously there's a lot more to this, because Jessica ends up taking both of them away, I'm pretty sure, from Mary. Yeah, Jessica is really evil. Jessica's very evil, but like, no, I can't say this. I will be in so much trouble. I'm gonna say it. Jessica is kind of a girl boss. Listen to me, everybody. Right, I'm not condoning a lot of what she did, right? I won't condone it. You know, I support women's rights and wrongs at the end of the day, but some of her wrongs, Jessica girl, I can't be on that side. Do you know what I mean? But as a villain, bit of an icon. I don't know, like, do you know what I mean? As a villain character, wow. She ate them up. No, she ate them up. Oh my goodness. I did a video on here one time about how Jessica De Laurentiis is kind of the actual villain of Pretty Little Liars, because literally everything starts from her and everything revolves kind of around her, honestly. And if she didn't do some things, then we wouldn't basically have Pretty Little Liars. So as a villain, I think she eats everyone up. Except for my girl Mona. That's a different situation. Also guys, I will link this timeline down below. This was made by Marie Garcia, and it's such a helpful timeline. And I just want to tell you guys about it, because it really helped me kind of picture everything happening. Do you know what I mean? So we'll leave the link down below. Then we go to June 8th, 1994, which is the Campbell Apple Farm thing. This is where, you know, when they were in the dollhouse and they were trying to figure out who Charles is, Charles plays them a family video of Jessica, Jason, and Charles, and Alison, I believe, is in there as a baby. So this is when this situation happens, and obviously Charles is Mary Drake's child, and yeah, but we don't know this yet. We don't know this yet until later on. We do not know this piece of information because later on it kind of gets revealed that Mary Drake is the mum. Anyways, blah de blah de blah, because they do this whole gaslighty thing with Jason where Jason is told that Charles was his imaginary friend whenever they have to send Charles away, which is like actual pure evil. This is Jessica's wrongdoing that I do not, although actually it was Kenneth that gaslighted him. I take it back, I do. Kenneth, oh look, another man. Why would a man be there? So yeah, Kenneth gaslights Jason into being like, I don't know who that man is, like, do you know what I mean? And that Charles was like an imaginary friend, which is crazy behaviour actually, sorry. So Charles is sent to Radley in 1995 after there's an incident where he burns Alison by accident because Alison's crying in the house. She's a baby at this point. The parents are outside. Jessica's like, she's doing some gardening, I'm pretty sure it was. And Charles wants to give Alison a bath to try and like stop Alison from crying. But then Kenneth walks in as Charles places Alison in the bath. And then it all kind of spirals from there. Charles gets sent to Radley because they think that Charles hurt Alison on purpose. Which is so sad because like, no. December 25th, 1999 is when Mrs. De Laurentiis buys 2 yellow dresses because she was buying clothes for Cece because Cece wanted to wear more feminine type of clothes. June 11th, 2000, which doesn't actually make sense with the timeline. It's not this person's fault, it's Marlene King's fault. This is the scene where Toby and Alison almost kiss as teenagers, which doesn't make sense because the next thing we have on the timeline, October 24th, 2000, is Marion's death. Bethany kills Marion, but Bethany and Cece at that point are still children. They're not Alison's age as a teenager. So it can't make sense for Alison to be almost kissing Toby as a teenager with then a few months later Marion's death happening because the ages just don't really add up. But that's not the person's fault here. That is Marlene's fault because it doesn't make sense. And Marlene King did say in an interview afterwards that this scene of Toby and Alison kissing was supposed to be them as kids, but they wanted to keep the actors for them, so they were teenagers. Marlene King girl, let's get back in the writer's room. Absolutely, I'm not taking that excuse. 2004, Jessica visits Charlotte. So the transition has happened and Cece's kind of getting on with her life in Radley at this point. So Jessica sees her quite often. And this is where also Jessica sees Bethany here and there, but Bethany is kind of another situation. Bethany's Bethany. So yeah, Jessica sees Cece quite a lot in Radley, which I guess is very nice of her. But also Jessica did take Cece away from her mum when she was born. So maybe it's not nice of Jessica. Either way, 2007, Cece and Jason meet. So Cece and Jason meet at the photo, God, what is it called? My British ass. The photo book? No, what's it called? The yearbook, that's it. The yearbook photos are taking place and Cece is there even though she doesn't go to the school, and she gets voted prom queen in the yearbook, which doesn't make sense because she doesn't go to school. Anyways, so she meets Jason, and Jason at this point we are told is Cece's brother, but he actually turns out to be Cece's cousin and brother. But they meet and they actually have a relationship, which is crazy because it's incest. However, it is kind of told that they never sexually did anything, and it was more like everything apart from that. But it's still weird. 2008, Alison bullies Mona. This is when kind of Mona's villain arc kind of starts to slowly build up. Because she's so tormented by Alison and mocked by Alison. But this is when everything just kind of, we get a picture of like, oh, this is why Mona was A, right? And she ate that up. She did. Ate that up. December 12th, 2008 is when Alison and Arya trash Byron's office. I believe this was after they found out about the affair, and that's why they did it. I can't really remember. I'm not gonna lie, guys. The brain's foggy. The trauma from this year, we're fogged up. January 6th, 2009 is when Jenna assaults Toby, which is a very sad thing, which I feel like doesn't get spoken about enough. I think Toby's trauma on that is really not spoken about as it should be. And it's very weird because Jenna, through the show, is sometimes shown as a bit of a girl boss and like slay, you know what I mean? But it's like, actually, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. No, we're not going to do that. We aren't going to do it. March 12th, 2009, Alison talks about Pigskin, who is Paige, and we really start to see Alison for who she is and the villain that she is kind of before she comes back. And guys, once again, I don't support everything that Alison did, but Alison as a villain, she ate that up. Like, she just did. I love Alison as a villain so much, and I'm so sad about her redemption arc because it did flop. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think anyone really wanted it. Alison as a villain before she went missing was so fun, and I ate up every little bit. Arrest me. I did. Like, March 14th, 2009, Alison and Emily talk about Paris. This is when the kind of romantic relationship starts to form between them here and there. They talk about kind of wanting to go to Paris and things like that. March 15th, 2009 is when Alison catches Hannah and Mike. Not gonna lie, completely forgot about this. I kind of liked them together low-key. There's a bit of an age gap, so we don't like it for those reasons. It wouldn't be the worst couple in the world, do you know what I mean? But, yeah, she uses this as blackmail towards Hannah because obviously it's like, if you tell Arya's gonna be so mad. God, I wish Arya was A. Oh, I wish Arya was A. April 17th, 2009, Alison comforts Hannah about her ED. And trigger warning here, I'll put a little place to skip to if you need to. But this is when Alison kind of gets Hannah into her ED and starts kind of, you know, that whole thing, which was horrid, actually. And so gross. I couldn't even imagine someone kind of not forcing you to do it, but like encouraging that is like, absolutely not. So that's when this starts to take place. April 20th, 2009, Alison tells Emily about an older guy with a gun. Who could this be, everybody? We will find out. Don't you worry, we will find out. So we're skipping here a little bit, but June 27th, 2009, the girls hang out at the lake and Alison once again is being quite mean to Hannah, sending shots here and there, but also to the other girls. So we're really seeing the kind of friend that she was too. She was a horrid friend to all of the liars, and that makes me think, like, when she came back and did this whole redemption arc, like, the way the liars were kind of forced by the writers to forgive her. Like, for example, like, if she put me through what she put Hannah through, oh my goodness, I would never speak to you again. Oh my goodness, forgiveness? Ah! July 4th, 2009 is the Jenna thing. And the Jenna thing is when Alison sends like a firework into the Kavanaugh barn and it catches on fire because she thought it was Toby in there, not Jenna, and then Jenna ends up becoming blind. So the girls essentially blind Jenna and it becomes known as the Jenna thing because they don't tell anyone about it and it's kind of like their big like secret. And this is kind of the first major secret that we're told. July 5th, 2009, Alison gives the girls friendship bracelets. So make the friendship bracelets. So these are the bracelets that are kind of shown throughout the rest of the show. Here and there, there's early on they find Alison's bracelet kind of in like the forest, and it becomes like a, oh my god, did A put that there type of thing. But they don't really last long in the show, like it's not a huge thing, but kind of early on in the show it becomes kind of like a thing, I guess. July 6th, 2009, Emily and Alison kiss. Now, my thoughts on this. I've made my thoughts known about Emily and Alison's relationship multiple times. I didn't like it. I think it was just absolutely not. I think they only did it for the fans rather than for what it meant to the characters. And I personally didn't like it, but I've done like a whole thing on that. So, July 12th, 2009 is when we get Jorag, Toby. July 30th, 2009, Ian and Spencer kiss. This is like our first, it's not really our first, but it kind of is in the timeline of many inappropriate relationships on the show. Don't worry, this show knows a lot about inappropriate relationships. July 31st, 2009, Alison and Jason fight, and this is when the girls are... They go through periods on the show where they really zoom in on one character being A. And I said in my previous video, if the girls are suspecting someone kind of before the finales, it's not them. It's not them. And they went through a phase where they were like, Jason is A, and maybe Jason killed Ali and things like that, because they zoom back on like times where Jason was kind of like violent and aggressive. He's hot. That's just a separate point. Not that I'm saying that makes up for him being aggressive. That's not what I mean. The actor's hot. August 2nd, 2009, Alison and Spencer blackmail each other. There's a really toxic friendship going on between these two. When you find out that they're actually family, it kind of makes it a lot more funnier. Not funnier, actually. Let's not make fun of their trauma. But it is funny. It is funny, I won't lie. Because it's like, oh, that's why like they were so argumentative. But this is also, Spencer has a phase where she thinks she killed Alison. So she keeps kind of going back to times like this when they just didn't really get along. And I think Jessica as well like frames Spencer for Alison's murder because of like how much they didn't like each other. August 4th, 2009, Hannah sees Vivian Darkbloom at a hair salon. So this is when we're starting to learn about Alison's kind of alter ego, and kind of like she dresses as this person because she's so like, you would recognize Alison anywhere, right? Like the blonde hair, like you would recognize her. The blonde hair became such a staple in the show for Alison. So she would wear a dark wig to kind of get away from like Alison and to be kind of someone else. But she's getting her hair kind of like fitted, and Hannah is also at the salon and sees her there, and she's like, oh, Alison. August 5th, 2009, Cece checks into Radley as Alison, and this is when we have the scene where Jessica walks in and Alison's playing the piano, and they get really mad because it's like, Jessica was like, you and Cece are wearing the same things, and they said that my daughter checked into Radley, blah blah blah. And like, this would make sense, but it doesn't, I'm afraid. Because Jessica would always buy Alison and Cece the same clothes, because she wanted to support the fact that Cece wanted to wear kind of more feminine style clothes and more, you know, support her transition and things like that. So she would always buy, if she would buy Alison an outfit, she would buy Cece an outfit type of thing, right? So it doesn't really make sense for her to be mad here, because like, you made this sandwich, do you know what I mean? Like, you've done this yourself, do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, okay. August 6th, 2009, Alison and Ezra meet, and Alison reads Ezra her story. So this is when we find out that they had an appropriate relationship. Okay guys, look, I'm gonna make an excuse for Ezra one time, and I will never defend a man again ever in my life, okay? To be fair to Ezra, he did not know Alison's age. And Alison always kind of seemed older than what she was because she used fake IDs and things like that. And I think mentally she seemed older than what she was. So to be fair to him, he didn't know. Right, I'm never going to defend a man ever again. Okay, so August 10th, 2009, Alison asked Jessica if she could go to Cape May. And when Jessica says no, this is the scene where Alison is like holding in her breath and like isn't breathing because she wants to get her own way. So this is like, I really like this scene because it's such a true image of who Alison really is, in terms of like, she is selfish and she's gonna get what she wants type of thing. So I really like this scene because I just think it sums her up so well. August 12th, 2009, Cece and the De Laurentises leave for Camp May. So Cece joins on to the De Laurentiis family as Jason's girlfriend at this point. No one knows, apart from Jessica, who Cece really is, but she kind of joins on with them and becomes really close with Alison during this whole time. August 13th, 2009, Alison has a pregnancy scare. I'm not sure. I think this was very much confirmed to be Wilden because she met Wilden at Camp May and he became kind of known as Beach Hottie, who was like an older guy that she also got into a relationship with. So I do believe this was Wilden's baby if she was pregnant, but that kind of never was like 100% like, you know. August 16th, 2009, this is when Alison starts to make masks for her and her friends. This is when we find this out when the girls go to this mask making place and Emily gets a mask made of herself and because they want answers, and Alison made masks for her and her friends. I don't really know exactly what she was going to use them for because this was kind of before she disappeared, but yeah. August 29th, 2009, Alison blackmails Byron. So Alison is blackmailing Byron because of the whole affair. Things get a little tense. I will say I do think this was kind of thrown in just to throw us off a little bit because, like, apart from this little bit, Byron's not got a huge importance in like the Alison disappearing story. So I don't know if this was just like a shock factor thing that they wanted to do. I'm not really sure. September 1st, 2009, Alison disappears. And obviously we know the timeline to this, or kind of like what happened. Cece hit Alison, thought it was Bethany, and then Jessica buried her alive to kind of cover it up. And blah blah blah. I've done a full timeline of the night Alison went missing if you do want to check that out down below. However, she obviously gets out of the grave because I forgot her name, the old woman, pulls her out of the grave. Yeah, but she ends up getting out of her car and Mona ends up stumbling across Alison, which is very interesting because Mona thought that she killed Alison, but she actually killed Bethany. So she's like, oh, Alison's still alive type of thing. And she's got to cover it up, right? And she sees this as the perfect opportunity to send Alison away because obviously Alison was tormenting her for so long. So they go to the Lost Woods resort and Alison promises Mona to make her popular. You gotta be popular. Mona kind of becomes the it girl over summer because Alison leaves. She's getting away because through this whole time she's getting messages from A and she's very scared. Now that this whole thing had happened with her being buried alive and hit, she was very, very scared by that whole situation. So she decided to go away. And then, Mona became the it girl. Mona became friends with Hannah on November 1st, 2009. And things kind of just take off from there. And that's where we end with kind of like the prequel to Pretty Little Liars before Alison disappears type of thing. I really, really liked this timeline. I have missed a few things out. So if you are interested to see the full kind of timeline, I will leave the link down below because I found this on Twitter, I think. And I was like, wow, this is like really kind of got me with it properly, kind of like pre-Alison. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.